I loved the book. Awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad. I recently asked for some testimonials. I'm doing a book funnel. So if anyone on this call wants to give me a video testimonial on the book, I would love that. But what's been so neat is when I start to ask for these testimonials, folks are like, oh yeah, I read the book and then sold a program. And I'm like, why did you reach out to me and tell me? Like, that's important news that I want to know. So please share your wins as you have them as you're reading the book. I hope this inspires me to get into the book. Awesome, Denny. I sure hope so too. I wrote this book. So Denny, you did not have to buy a $20,000 coach training program or marketing program so that you could sell your coaching right from the beginning. So this is the cheapest way to make the most amount of money as a coach. So yes, go for it 100%. And if you can, turn on those cameras. Okay. So awesome. Tell me anything else that you want to make sure, a refresher and a jumpstart for Shelly. If there's anything else that comes up that you're like, gosh, I was really wondering that, or I wish you would answer this question, I'll glance back at the chat as we go through the training. Okay. Hi, Linda. Thank you. Thank you. Starting an online business. Awesome. Okay. Okay, Carrie's going to jump off and come back in. Okay. So before we get started, I want you to know who I am and the person before you today. And this is something I have a really hard time with. And so I'm going to practice on you and you can practice on each other. But it's really important to brag on yourself, whether it's in front of a mirror, with friends, with anyone, so that you get used to sharing with other people your brilliance. Because lately I've been like, hot damn, I've raised the price of my program. I doubled it because people are getting such great results. I take calls every single day, dozens of calls a month. And every single week, probably about 2 people will say, will you sell for me? Will you come and work for my company? This was an amazing experience. This is not what people think of when they think of sales. And I am here to change that forever. Sales calls make me so happy. And in fact, this morning I had a wonderful sales call where the gentleman said, how did you learn how to sell like this? How did you learn this? This is an amazing experience. And he named a few things that he loved. And that makes me feel so amazing. But here's how I learned how to sell like this. I've now taken over 600 sales calls. I've enrolled hundreds of clients into high ticket coaching programs. That means about $20,000, give or take. And I've led $1 million sales teams. I built them from several $100,000 to millions, and now I mentor other sales teams. What's cool, mostly though, as it relates to you, is I had for 5 years a front row seat to coaches in training. And so here I am selling high ticket coaching, right? This high ticket program, and I'm observing these coaches in training. I'm seeing what holds them back, what they're afraid of money-wise. And it was, I mean, talk about a laboratory. I just got to study them. And I actually built my course in response to their needs. And I'm still doing that today. So I was just really fell into the right place at the right time, was able to use my skills to help uplift heart-centered coaches who really, if you're on this call, it's hard to find someone that really aligns with your values, that really feels like sales is service, and is really articulating the sales conversation for coaches. Now, selling something else, even marketing is pretty similar. Even if you're selling something that isn't service-based, it's really important that we have a different sales conversation and experience with our clients, because we're going to be with them for months. And our sales conversation sets the stage for success. And I'll just give you 2 examples before we jump in a little bit more. But for example, on this call today, the gentleman said, is there a refund or a money back guarantee, those types of things? And while I shared with him the details of that, I also said, don't come into the program if that's the kind of attitude you're coming in with, right? So I was really able to help coach him and set the stage. And that's the kind of confidence I want for you is, hey, I work with this type of client, not that type of client. And if you're ready to up-level yourself and be this type of client, I want you in. I want you to come in now. But that level of confidence is learned and it is taught. And if you care about the other people, if you're somebody who recycles, who picks up trash, right? Who cares about the planet, who cares about other human beings, I can teach you to sell 100%. And we're going to start here today. Okay. So my question to you, those of you that have read chapter 1 of Joyful Selling, if you could put in the chat, please, what resonated or stood out to you in chapter 1 of Joyful Selling, how to sell your coaching for thousands? Put that in the chat. My intention with this chapter is to really help coaches and service providers of all sorts really understand why it's so important to never sell single sessions. Not only because it keeps you stuck as the coach, but it really helps the client. And when you sell single sessions, if you remember, I share the story in the book about the therapist that I went to, right? And when you sell single sessions, it really keeps the coach and the client stuck. Our brains are really funny and tricky here in that we want to accomplish something in a set period of time. And now if you think about your life and you think about university, right? It didn't go on and on. You didn't go to a class once a week for 2 years, right? It was a semester and it was broken down. When you think about anything you've really worked towards, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's the differentiator in high ticket selling with coaching and really getting a transformation for your clients. It's that you are transforming their life, not putting a Band-Aid on a problem. Okay. And if you sell this way, you will absolutely transform people's life, not only because you're an amazing coach, but simply because you've held this container of support for clients. Okay. So please put in the comments, everybody, one thing that you got for chapter 1. Denny, if you haven't read it yet, I want to make sure before you leave this call that you really understand the difference between single sessions, packages, and a client coaching partnership. Okay. So here, I'm going to get you communicating in the chat. Do you understand the difference between single sessions, packages, and client coaching partnerships? Denny, yes. Awesome. Okay. Shelly, I know you do. And if you don't, please say so. Awesome. Good, Denny. Good, good, good. Okay. So let's backtrack for just 2 seconds and then we'll fast forward. Okay. For those like you, Denny, who have not sold single sessions for a decade. Okay. Single sessions is a pay-as-you-go model. This is more like a therapist you would think of, a personal trainer, maybe. Personal trainers should not sell this way, but it's when you come in and you say, hey, I'd love an hour of coaching. I'd love 5 hours of coaching. I'm going to go ahead and pay you per transaction. Okay. Packages are typically when you say, hey, why don't we work together for X, 6 sessions? I typically discount when you buy 6 sessions. And so packages are single sessions at a discount, typically. Okay. Always different, but typically a client coaching partnership, and I really outline this in chapter 1 of the book, is when you work together for somebody for 3, 6, 9, even 12-month period of time. You have a set schedule. We meet every other week or we meet weekly, and that helps you determine and wrap up the way you work together and move away from the single session model and charge more. Because when you work that way, the beauty is in between the sessions. When I was 40, turning 42 this year, I wanted to get in the best shape of my life. And if you've heard the story before, I apologize. But I called up a personal trainer nearby. She was fit. She was beautiful. I was like, great, I want to look like her, right? So I called her up and she said, great, here's how I work. Every time you come, it's $39. It's in my garage. Here's what we'll do. She named a few things. And I said, all right, well, it's not super motivating, but whatever, I'll get going. right? So I was very, very motivated. I had money to spend. I wanted somebody who would give me the full solution, but she was what was available. So I started going, but at $39, if I had a sales call, I was going to make a heck of a lot more than that. If I was tired, I wouldn't come. So after about a month or two, I started to piddle out. So let's think about, and we can just do the math. Carrie, will you do the math for me? Pull out your calculator. Okay. She was charging me $39. Let's say I come to all the sessions twice a week for a month. Okay. Now, had she done the base level of what I teach, she could have said, oh, hot damn, just a little bit of sales skills. Tell me why it's so important for you to look hot as hell when you turn 40 years old. Why is that important to you? Just a simple conversation with me I would have told her, right? And she would have said, awesome. If you really want those results, if that is really, really important to you, here is what I suggest. Let's go ahead and meet 2 times a week for the next 3 months. In between our sessions together, I'm going to send you a text message checking in to make sure that you're eating right, that you've done the one workout in between our sessions, and that you are ready for the next meeting together. When you don't show up, you still pay. And I am so excited to record your results right now or where you are right now, and then to check in 3 months later and see how far you've gone. You can go ahead and get started today with a $500 activation, and your next payment next month automatically comes out 30 days later. Let's do this. Boom. That is it. Okay. That is it. And she should charge me way more than $500 an hour, but I'm just using that. Okay. So do you see the difference right there in the results that I would get in the income, right? So that would be under $400 a month. Already she increased her income. She increased the chances of me coming. She should charge way more than that. She should have charged $997 a month, right? I would have said, absolutely. She could have just sat down with me in the beginning, mapped out our times together, put them on the calendar, sent me reminders, just that white glove service. And what's really neat about this is she actually releases herself of the mental energy of reminding me if I'm going to come, right? Rescheduling when I don't show up, all of those things. So this little shift alone would get me tremendous results and would save her time and make her more money. And so that is what I invite you to do for your clients, is to give them the full solution, not a little bit of a Band-Aid or something that feels a little bit better. Step into your power and invite them to step into theirs. And it's the tiniest shift that I was so lucky to learn from an amazing coach right at the beginning of my coach certification when I became a coach, that you never charge for single sessions. Okay. Linda, does that make sense to you? Does that resonate? Christine, Denny, Carrie? Yeah. Okay. And it's this little tiny shift. So the next thing that we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about no more single sessions. We're going to talk about the activation fee, and then we're going to go over everyone's pricing. Okay. So the second thing I want to share with you is an activation fee. So actually just this week, I had a client in Unscripted Sales message me and go, oh, she was so excited. First off, the first boxer was, I'm so excited. I had got a new client. Oh my gosh. And she had to tell me about it. Right. I didn't hear her say that she took the money, so I was a little bit nervous. And sure enough, time and time again, if you don't take the money on the first call, the client leaves and walks away and has that oh shit moment. Okay, it's not that they don't want to do this, but they have all these competing priorities. They have a spouse who said something negative, or they have a coworker who said, wow, that's a crazy amount of money, or something crazy. It doesn't mean that they don't want it. It means that they had second thoughts and doubts, which are completely normal, but you want to be there to coach them through that. So something that has really worked well for me and my clients is to always take what we call an activation fee, or it's really the first payment, however you want to articulate it, on the first call. So when you set up your pricing, And this is, if you're running a sales team, this is going to be different advice for you. Okay. But as an individual coach, you want to take an activation fee that is light and breezy, easy peasy, that feels really good. I typically do a $500 activation, no matter what payment plan they're stepping into. Or even if they're paying in full, go ahead and let's just do that activation today. And if you go ahead and pay in full in 30 days, you can get that pay in full price. So let's say you're a personal trainer and you're running a $1,500 3-month container of support, right? You can simply say, let's go ahead and get you started today with that $500 activation. And 30 days later, your next payment of $500 will come out automatically. It's that simple. And so often, I don't want you to miss out on the pay in full for this, and we can talk about it if you like. But so often we really think about the full price of our program and we focus on that. This is a $15,000 program. Somebody's like, ooh, but if you're like, this is $1,500 a month, you can go ahead and get started today with that activation, and your first payment comes out 30 days later. So we're focusing on the payment and what that's going to feel like each month. And that's how we typically operate. I always use the example of my fancy Toyota Sienna with both doors that open. I don't know what it cost, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I don't have a clue. But I know that the payments are $350 a month, and that feels good to me. So when you think about, and we'll practice and talk about it today, the price of your offer, you want it to be really light and breezy, easy peasy. And that's why I always use, when I first sold coaching, that was what I sold it for. So I always use that example for coaches as they come in. It's a nice round, easy number. But you can also break it up. Let's say, you charge $3,000 for a 3-month container of support. Let's get started with a $1,000 activation today, and your first of 2 payments will come out 30 days later. Okay. Any questions on that? And I would love, actually, if everybody would put in the chat what they're thinking of charging or what they're charging currently. I love pay in fulls. They are fantastic. You want to get a yes on the payment plan first. And then right before you take the credit card, and this is advice for single coaches, not sales teams, right before you take the credit card, would you want to go ahead and pay in full and save X amount of dollars? Would you want to just go ahead and pay this off? I bonus an extra, intensive VIP day to folks that pay it, whatever it is that feels good to you. Okay. So this is not going to stop us from the pay in full. Okay. Shelly is working on 1,500. Perfect. Okay, Linda, this is awesome. So Linda asks, so if I'm new to coaching, can we run tests or should we do beta testing? I love beta testing, whether you're new to coaching or not. Everybody loves a beta program. And I actually did this for unscripted sales. So I was charging thousands of dollars for a group coaching program. And I just felt like I was like pulling people's teeth, like, oh, please come, do you want to learn? Like, it was just exhausting. And I didn't actually feel like people were getting the best results. And so I thought, how can people work with me still, reach out to me and get support when they need? And those badasses that want to step right in can learn right away. So I thought, let's see what happens when folks get access to the course material and just Voxer support with me. Voxer is an app. And so you messaged me with questions. And I thought, could it be that easy? Could it be that easy that people could watch some video, read a book, watch some videos, sell their coaching, reach out to me when they get in trouble? So I did a beta, right? And I ran it for half off for a couple months, and hot damn, it was amazing, right? We had so many people join the 2 sold in 1 day club, which my goal is 50 by the end of the year. And it was awesome. So now I feel more confident, and now the price has doubled. Right. And so that beta program is awesome no matter what level you're at. I love a beta program. I also love case studies. Like, will you come in at half price for a case study for me? And I'll follow your work. So Linda, yes, 100%. Okay, Christine, 1,500 for 3 months, 500 each month. Okay, perfect. So that's super easy peasy. You can go ahead and get started. And I want you to be sure that you use numbers that are yours. Okay. So even if that's a $497 activation and the first payment is $500, And the way you know if the number is yours is that you get a buddy, a pal, maybe somebody you don't know, to jump on a Zoom call with you. And you say those numbers. Record yourself, listen back, ask the other person which one felt better in their body. It is so cool, and you will be able to hear it. And I do this with folks all the time. Say those numbers to me. Not quite right. Try it again. And we just play a little bit, and then boom, when you get it right, you get it right. And it's actually often more. So sometimes when the number doesn't feel right, you should be charging more. And I've actually seen this with 2 multi-million-dollar coaching programs. One's marketing, one's coaching. When they dropped their lower end offer and focused on the offer of the people who came in and just nailed it, sales went through the roof. So really getting those numbers right and serving that level of clientele that feels really good to you. Okay, Denny, I'm going to focus on you here for a second. You feel free to unmute yourself, my dear. My 12-month is $17,500 using quarterly payments of $43.47. I love it. Okay. I'm not using an activation fee, just received the first installment. I'm considering activation fee for a new program I'm working on. Okay, fantastic. So I took a similar amount today for a four pay, $43.47. I think that's nice, especially when you're working on that higher level. I think that feels like a really nice chunk. Another thing you could do, Denny, is to say, let's go ahead and we're going to put you on this payment plan. Right. And if you want to pay it off in 30 days, that you can save, and then you just send them a reminder with a payment link just before that payment is due. So that's been really something that has been working as well. If you never want to change anything, if it's not working, or if it's working, right? Don't fix something that ain't broke. But if you did an activation fee, I might suggest that you move it up to like the $1,000 mark. Right. And you need to do an activation fee if people are saying yes, but not enrolling. You always want to enroll them on that first call. Yeah. So you kind of want to look at your numbers and see where you're getting stuck a little bit. Even if they're making that full payment, it's really nice on that first call to invite them to move forward. And I, on this call this morning, it was really nice. And this gentleman was like laughing at me because I said, I would love to give you a loving nudge to move forward. And he just thought that was so funny to say loving nudge with a $500 off. And I really actually like leaned in and explained to him, like, it actually is a really loving nudge. It's not like fast action, get it now, which you'll see a lot of people put online, like, oh, these are manipulation tactics. The thing is our brain is going to give us every excuse not to do this. Right. And he had multiple kids. I have a new job, right? So many excuses not to do it. So let me give you an excuse to step in right now. Here you go. Right. So it's still a great price tomorrow. It's absolutely a wonderful deal. You should do it. But when you can help somebody's brain take that step forward, and the same gentleman on today was like, thank you so much. Where did you learn this? And then, I mean, what a gift. Absolutely. Okay. So 10% savings to pay in full. You haven't had anyone pay an installment, then drop. Awesome. So, Denny, I'm wondering how big your program is, because see, this is why I actually teach, just do the installments if you're a single coach. It's a little bit silly in my experience for people who, unless you have a huge group coaching program, to not just say, no problem, an installment is just fine. I've had no one in my coaching ever not pay. It's a different experience when it's a one-on-one individual. When you're paying and working for a corporation, you feel like, oh, it's okay not to pay. You know what I mean? But with an individual coach, nobody's going to stop paying you unless it's not going well. And then you want to stop charging them anyway, right? And that comes to guarantees. If you all want to talk about guarantees, we can chat about that too. Okay. Denny, I love what you're doing. Yeah. 10% savings for the pay in full. And just a simple reminder to pay in full is just, it's really, really, really nice. Okay. Shelly, you do want to talk about guarantees? Okay. Let me take a drink. Anything, specific that's like, yeah, or just in general? And you're on mute.
In general.
Okay. So I think this is really, I don't know, this kind of cracks me up. You love this drink? Target. Oh yeah, so good. Sorry, I'm so thirsty all the time. Would any of you not give somebody's money back if they weren't happy? Of course you would. Of course. And with these Stripe and other payment processors, somebody just needs to go request the money back, and trust me, they will get it, right? And so you go ahead and you just give that money right back to somebody. If they are unhappy, an unhappy person is like a terrorist. They will run around telling everybody about you, right? But the same person who buys maybe they got this book for $1 or $15 and sells a program off of it, they don't tell anybody, but as somebody who is unhappy, have your money back. Good riddance to you. I am certainly I don't even want to keep the money. So absolutely, I offer a money back guarantee for sure. Here's the thing. If somebody is asking you about a guarantee, warning bells should be going off in your head, because this is somebody who is looking for a fix. And you are a coach. You are not here to fix people. You are here to help them fix themselves, right? They're not broken, actually. You're here to help them go through this process, to help them come through a decision. And you're a partner. You're walking side by side with them. You're not in front and you're not leading them, right? This is really a partnership. And so when somebody starts offering or asking about guarantees, I'm not going to say, like, to this gentleman, I'm not, oh my God, yeah, no problem. I would always give money back. Of course, you get these results or else. Absolutely not, right? My guarantee to you is that if you show up and you do the work, amazing things will happen. I don't know what they are, and neither do you. We don't even know it's going to happen. But I really stand behind my coaching. I work in complete, ethics and blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. But do not come into this program, please, with that attitude. The people who get the best results and the greatest success come in curious, ready to learn more, ready to roll up their sleeves and do the work. Okay. It's a fair question if somebody asks you that. It's not, I wouldn't immediately write them off, but do pause for a second and ask them some more questions as to where it's coming from. Okay. Awesome. Denny, yes, it depends on whether or not they do the work. Absolutely. And I also too, like, people are going to be frustrated. Like, it's okay. And I remember, some of you know, Carly Clark Zimmer, the first time somebody asked her for a refund, she was like, I made it, like, it's not personal. It's like, it just isn't personal at all. If somebody asks you for a refund, maybe it wasn't aligned, maybe, just let it go. Give them their money back and move on to the next person and open up space for them. Absolutely. Linda, okay, so absolutely, I get someone to sign what I call, instead of a contract, I call it a program agreement. And here's the thing that a lot of coaches get caught up on too, and they're like, well, you signed the thing, you have to pay me. And a contract does not stop you from being sued. Not even any, and no contract does, right? But it helps you win in court. Again, are you going to go to court with people? Absolutely not. But a program agreement is awesome in that it helps you set up what is expected of you and what is expected of them. And I actually said this to the gentleman this morning. You're about to receive a program agreement, so you understand what's expected of you, what we expect of you, and 100% what you can expect of us during our time together. And that's it, right? So it's really clear laying out those expectations. And see, now, Linda, when you have this 3-month partnership, here's the expectation that you're going to outline. And in the course, I have an example of a program agreement you can use. Here's our call dates. Here's what I expect from you. If something comes up, here's what I expect, right? That's really the agreement they have. And I always have, still to this day, it has been on my to-do list for 5 years, but I haven't figured out the Adobe Sign, right? I don't know why. I just don't I can't get myself to do that. If somebody wants to do it for me, please do it. I say, print it out, look at it, physically sign it, and take a picture of it. Because you are physically holding something in your hand And there's a real power in that. And I actually believe that. It's also because I'm lazy, but I really believe that when you print something out, you look at it, you physically sign it. It's there, because the truth is the program agreement is a commitment to them, to themselves. And that's really it. You're committing to yourselves to doing the work, to showing up and having a powerful experience, whatever that may be. So program agreement, hands down, absolutely. I was just going to try out ChatGPT. You could put ask it to create a program agreement for you. Have a lawyer look over it. That'll save you some money, but that's one on my to-do list to play around with that. Great question. Really, really great question. Yeah, very detailed and clear. That's what's going to stop people being unhappy, right? When you haven't laid clear expectations. And that's actually why people are unhappy sometimes on a sales call, because you haven't set an intention at the beginning of the sales call for what they will experience during their time together. And so they hadn't anticipated that you were going to ask them for $20,000, right? You hadn't set the stage for that. So really setting the stage, and this is what I teach in unscripted sales, is how to set up the sales call so that they leave going, "Huh, damn, this was an amazing experience. Can you sell for me?" That's what I want for all of you. Awesome. Okay. So pricing wise, Linda, are you feeling pretty good on pricing? Carrie, Christine, Denny, is everybody feeling good on the pricing itself? Okay, awesome. And everybody is in agreement to take the money on the first call. Everybody understands why that's so important. We don't want to invoice. And that's only because those people are going to have that, they're going to go through that sales process all over again. It's not really fair of you to ask them to do that on their own. Okay. Linda, so what you might want to do is think about what it feels good to charge someone and how long. And if you're new to coaching, I suggest, Shelly, tell me what you think. I really bring people through for free a few times. And I invite you to bring them not through a few sessions, which is typically what a coach training program has you do, but I want you to bring them through an entire client coaching partnership of 3 months. And you just go knock somebody over the head, whatever you have to do to get them to sign that program agreement, commit to the coaching, charge them $100, whatever it is. I don't love bartering. It can get a little tricky. But somebody who's really looking for coaching. And if you actually have a list of people, if that's something you might be interested in, I can send that to you, of people who are looking for coaching. And bring them through your 3-month client coaching partnership. So one person maybe of the 3. So we have the rule of 3. So once you charge, $1,500 for your 3-month client coaching partnership, let's move it up to $2,000. Okay. Once you charge $2,000 for 3 people, let's move it up. Okay. Once you bring 3 people through that beta, Linda, it's time to charge. So you might want to bring one person through and coach them every other week during that 3-month client coaching partnership. The next person, you might want to coach them every single week. Right. So you really kind of play around with it. Some people you might want to offer Voxer support in between. For the other person, you might not want to. So you want to see what feels really good to you, because that's when you're going to thrive. For me, it took me a long time to realize that when I'm working in my most aligned self, other people thrive too, because I am so excited about sending you a Voxer message when I'm in line at my kids' school, picking them up right in the carpool line. I'm sitting there for like a half an hour. I'm going to drop some awesome sales bombs on you that's going to, make you thousands of dollars. How awesome is that? That makes me so excited. It takes up like 0 brain space for me. I've been doing this for so long. I can go, no, wait, don't respond to the email. Or, oh, let's think about your pricing and change it here. Or if you're getting no-shows, here's how you can change your sales process at the beginning so that never happens, right? I can just spit those off for you. And that feels so good to me. But the only way I figured this out was by doing it, by messing it up, by getting it wrong, by not charging enough, right? By charging too much and having to give too much, right? Because my price point was so high that I had to serve them at a different level. So I had to find that place that was right where I wanted to be and I don't want to jump on a sales call or a coaching call with anybody one-on-one anymore. I want them to learn on their own. If you're not willing to read Joyful Selling, right, and learn that methodology, I've given it to you, then we're not really going to be the best fit for each other. But if you read it, ask questions, join the program, I'm going to help you. Hands down, I will pull over that minivan, right, on the way, and I will give you that support you need in real time. So you're going to find that, Linda, what works. And then your brain is going to go, oh my gosh, I've done some single sessions now, and I've done the client coaching partnership, and hot damn, the person who did the partnership, they left a marriage. They got married. They decided to have a baby. Oh my God, they hired a nanny, compared to the person who did the single session, who I'm sure had an amazing experience as well. But you'll see it's typically not that big transformation that you'll have with those 3-month client coaching partnerships. Now now, since they're not paying you, their transformation isn't going to be as great. Money is an exchange of energy. And when somebody pays you, there's a different experience, but you'll start to get these other things down, right? Even the logistics of sending automated reminders or having an automated payment. You could have them pay you whatever, so you could set up those little systems. And so that when you go to sell to that next person, and it's as easy as posting in a mom's group, right? Hey, I'm doing a new thing. Who wants to try out this beta program? Fill out. And that's actually how I got my first handful of clients. Was I posted in a mom's group. 75 people responded to my finely worded survey. And a few of them joined coaching with me. So absolutely, really, really fun. Linda, I'm really excited for you. Okay. So everybody is good on pricing now. Don't get scared, but we are going to talk a little bit about your work. And sharing in, you all have access to this, and if you can't find it, I can email it to you. Step 4, opportunity. And this is your offer, right? And in unscripted sales, we call pitching presenting the opportunity, because I am not pitching to you and inviting you to convincing you to step into this, right? Instead, here is an opportunity. There are also others, but I want to go ahead and present this to you. Based on what you've shared with me, it feels like a good fit. So we call step number 4 in the 5 steps to choice, my sales framework, opportunity. And here is where you really need to practice. Okay. I give you in unscripted sales a cheat sheet where I have all the 5 steps, and then I have questions underneath. You're meant to practice this and then toss it out the window. Okay. I needed this. But it's really important, of all the steps, that you really have practiced with another human being presenting the opportunity to work with you. And Linda, this is also where it's really nice to have somebody come through a beta program, because now you've said the words, it's set to sell somebody to even do something for free is selling. You're convincing them to give up their time. That's really, really valuable. So you get to practice presenting the opportunity. Okay. So to present the opportunity, there are 4 steps, and we're just going to go really over this briefly, and I'm going to answer any questions as opposed to breakout rooms and practicing. Okay. But the 4 steps are why you're going to just state really briefly, recapping what they've said and why you do what you do. Okay. So, and I'll just use me as an example. Why I do what I do is because I intimately understand heart-centered coaches and the struggles that they have selling. They need to be aligned with their values and their integrity. It has to feel amazing and be a win-win, or they're never going to be successful. So I love this work. I get so high when people sell their programs. It's my crack. Okay. Like just a little bit of why you do what you do helps somebody connect with you. If you're a coach that specializes in autism and you have 3 autistic kiddos or a autistic kiddo, then I'm really going to resonate with you more. If you're a divorce coach and you're helping me through divorce, I'm really going to resonate more if you've been through divorce. I have to tell you, right? Denny, what type of coach are you? Lifestyle and business strategist. Okay. So, for Denny, and tell me a little bit more if you would. If you haven't been where I've been, I'm not going to resonate. So just a little bit about a why you do this work. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and I want you to write in 1 sentence why you do what you do. and put it in the chat. Don't make it perfect, just throw it in there. Okay, so Denny says she does this because she loves when people realize and live a lifestyle that brings them joy and ease and not overwhelm. She likes to help people live a happier life. How much are you going to pay for that? Right? I've recently just found this flow in my life. I don't know like how it happened, but I just wake up like so like, oh my God, thank you for this house. Thank you for my spouse. Like just so joyful. I would want that for everyone, right? Because I know what it's like to be so miserable. Yes. And Denny knows that too, right? I know she's had this like transformational experience. So really when you can share a piece of your heart with somebody, even briefly, you don't want to make it about you, so that they really resonate with you. It's a little bit personal. That's really, really awesome. All right, come on, Shelly, give it to me, girl. Why do you do what you do? Carrie, you impact people's lives every day. I know they walk out of your office feeling amazing. Christine, tell me why you do what you do. And it can even be like, it doesn't have to be this profound thing. It can even be, coaching changed my life. It just hands down changed my life. And actually that is why I think I can wake up every day and be like, oh, awesome. Right. And why I can run a business the way I want and serve coaches the way I want is because of coaching. Right. So I had this experience of coaching and I wanted to bring that to other people. It was absolutely transformative. Okay. Shelly, are you typing? Okay, good job. Thank you. My daughter was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and I've helped a leaky gut. Okay. Heal a leaky gut. So I know what it feels like to be miserable every day. Now I can help others feel great every day. You know how horrible that was, how it affected her life, her relationship, school, and the family's relationship, right? And the stress it caused and the money, right? That was really, really, really painful. And if you can take away that pain from even one other person, that's going to be completely worth it. Absolutely. So even right now, this small, intimate detail that Shelly shared, like I feel a little bit closer to you, like I'm like, oh, wow, Shelly, you shared something with me. That's really, really nice, right? So just a little bit, and then we put the tension back on the other person. Okay. I've been through life changes that have sent me reeling into the unknown and turned my life inside out. I'm committed to helping others move through these transitional times without so much pain and confusion. I help them get to the other side, AKA rebirth, with a beautiful sense of purpose. Awesome. Awesome. And Carrie, I love this. And it's very beautiful. So I am like, how can you make it like even more down and dirty, right? Let's not seek perfection. And really speaking to the other person in front of you, which is going to be our next point. This is awesome, Carrie. Perfect. Just beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was one sentence. So that is actually the goal, Deddy, so we often, and this is one reason why we practice this, is because when I ask you this question, we typically write 3 paragraphs. Even when I responded, how many sentences did I say? I said a ton. And so when you practice, you get it down to just one little soundbite, right? You practice and get it down a little more succinct, because we naturally want to put the attention back on ourselves. And something we've learned as coaches is how not to do that in that period of time. So we'll work to just take the attention and command a little bit and then put it back to the other person. Really, really great job. If anybody else wants to drop it in there, that would be awesome. Okay, so after you say, hey, here's why I do what I do, what you've shared with me, blah, 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 blah. And here's who I work with. I typically work with fill in the blank. And this is always a trick question because who you work with, my friends, is the person on the dang call. Okay. And so often people are like, I work with divorced women in their 40s. And I'm like, I'm not a divorced woman in my 40s. Like, but do you work with me? And they're like, oh, yes, I work with somebody like you too. Okay. Just speak to and modify who you work with, right? They might not be your ideal client, but you actually don't know that yet. Okay. Maybe you do, but really describe the person in front of you. Okay. So Shelly, if somebody is coming to you and they're, have a picky eater, right? You don't necessarily work with people who are diagnosed, but you can really help somebody with a picky eater because you understand that stress on an even bigger level. And picky eaters, right? Are they getting their nutrition? They have the same worries and fears, right? I always really like to use this word typically. I use even in payments, and I use it often because that leaves room for a little bit of wiggle. I typically work with women like you, and you want to, just like coaches do all the time, use their words to describe them. If they said, I feel sad, frustrated, angry, I work with women like you who are, like you said, sad, frustrated, and angry. Don't use your own words or your own spin on it. Reflect back, just like you learned in your coach training. Okay. Okay. So everybody, quick, who do you work with? Really fast, so we can keep moving here. We're getting slow on time. Who do I work with? Just write 3 words. I'll do it. Even here with me, people with leaky gut, awesome. Even here, I wouldn't use the word badass unless somebody had said they were badass, because they might go, oh my God, I'm not badass. I'm not like, and so I would use their words back to them. But my ideal client knows that they're badass, right? That's my ideal client. Perfect. I work with women caught up in the busyness of their life and busyness role. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so the third step in sharing the opportunity, and we're going to wrap up here in a minute, so stick with me, is to share your program's 3 objectives. Okay, and we always want to break up our offer into 3s and 4s. Our brain, just like phone number or credit card, we can only hold so much information. So that's why you need to practice this part. Okay, when we work together, we're going to get really clear on where you are now. We're going to start to dream and scheme about where you want to go, how you want to live, what you want your business to look like. And then I'm going to give you the tools and resources to help you step into that in a really powerful way. Okay, those are pretty vague. That could almost apply to everybody here. If you are in a sales coach, right? Okay, I'm teaching sales. First off, we're going to understand why it's so important to work with a client coaching partnership, not single sessions. And then I'm going to set you up for success before you even say hello. I'm going to help you make sure you get no-shows. People show up ready to buy on those calls. And then I'm going to teach you my 5 steps to choice process. I've used this on over 600 calls to help you methodically bring a client to a decision during a 45-minute sales call. Okay. So I've started to give you the overview of what it's going to look like while you work with us. We're going to do this. We're going to set you up for what you should sell, teach you how to sell it, and teach you how to onboard the clients. I don't know, whatever you say, right? But really 3 main things, the 3 main objectives of your program, okay? Can you repeat that? Okay, so yes, so the 3 objectives are the 3 main points of your program. So, and let's say, when we work together, we're going to get really clear on where you are now. This is most for coaches. I could do it for sales, but we're going to get really clear on where you are now, where you want to go. And then I'm going to give you the tools and resources to help you step into that. Some modification of that, right? So here's what's going to happen first when you join. So you're helping them, you're presupposing the close, and you're helping them visualize what it's going to be like to work with you. Where are you now? Can't figure out where you want to go if we don't know where you are. Then we're going to talk about where you want to go. And we're not just, I want to pay the bills, right? We're going to do some embodiment exercises and some other things to help you really understand and tap into these dreams that you might not even know you had. It's really, really powerful. And then once we know where we're going, let's lay out a plan and take the steps to make it happen. And I'm going to give you tools and resources to support you around that. Okay, beautiful. So the 3 objectives are those overall arching goals. Understand where you are now, where you want to go, and the tools and resources to get you there. But then you pause and share the details. So Linda, this is really like, we meet every other week for 3 months. In between our sessions, we have Voxer support to keep you on track. So the last thing is the logistics, and you share the highlights as 30,000 foot view. You don't want to say, and this is like really important, okay? You don't want to say, we'll have calls every day at 11 o'clock. Our coaching calls are at 11 o'clock. What does your brain do? Fixates on the 11 o'clock time, where that is usually your workout time. There's no way you can make it happen. Oh, you're out. Okay, right? But instead, if you don't focus on that, and instead, yes, you just say, we meet every other week during our time together, X, Y, and Z. So really, you're getting them away from never, if they are counting the sessions and they're going, oh, okay, so that's 12 sessions, $3,000, and they're dividing it and going, oh my gosh, we're doing something wrong. That's why we need to practice what we're doing here today, so that somebody doesn't pull out the calculator and go, oh my God, you charge $300 an hour? I don't even make $300 an hour. We never want them to do that. The transformation is in between sessions, and it's so much more than that session that you're having with them. They're going to get raises. I know if you're new, you might not believe this now. They will get raises. They will leave marriages. They will hire nannies. They will take new jobs. They will write new books. You will blow people's minds and change their life forever. Coaching is so, so powerful. And when you charge them accordingly, they step up and they show up in a really powerful way, and they thank you for the rest of their life. So practice this, lean into this, read the book. The book is going to help you, right? If you're not ready to work with me, here's a book. It'll cost you $15. And this will help you tremendously to really feel grounded on those first calls and get those first clients. Okay. All right. Why you do what you do, who you do this work with, right? That other person, describing them on the call, the highlights, 3 chunks of your program's objectives, and then the highlights, not the times, nothing like that, as easy as possible. And then we transition to activate and take that money on the phone with that activation fee. Okay. So I hope that you feel just a little bit more grounded as you really think about never selling single sessions. Okay. And sometimes you have to learn it the hard way, and you just have to do it. And that's okay. Whatever you have to do, but give yourself the rule of 3s. You sell single sessions, sell 3, then move to the client coaching partnership. When you give away the client coaching partnership free, only stick to 3, and then sell it for that $1,500 or the $800 or whatever feels good to you that first time. Sell it for 3 at that price. You move up to the next. Okay. We've talked about an activation fee and how powerful that is to have somebody step in, and how it's actually not the price of your program that we want to focus on, but instead those nice, easy peasy, light monthly payments. Go ahead and get started with a $500 activation. Your next payment of 2 comes out 30 days later. $500 is all they're focusing on. You're helping them move forward into that next step. Pricing, we're always going to make sure that there are pricing that's true to our heart, that feels good, that comes out of our mouth, sounding right. We're going to practice with a friend. It might be $997. It might be $995. You might like 3s, $333 a month. You need to do what really feels good in your body and what comes out of your mouth, feeling really authentic and grounded. Okay. All right. If you got an email from me this week, I upped the price of my program. So my program takes you from, this is the methodology. My program is the step-by-step learning how to set yourself up for success as you book those calls, never getting those no-shows, making sure your sequence prior to the sales call is spot on. Then you learn the 5 steps to choice, why it's so important to set an intention at the beginning of the sales call, why it's so important to host a 45-minute call, right? Why it's so important to bring somebody through an embodiment exercise, especially in coaching. If we're doing business, we modify just slightly. An embodiment exercise before you ask them for their bigger vision for their life. It's so important. Otherwise, you get mundane answers like, I want to pay the bills or not get divorced or yada, yada, yada. And so it's so nice to step in that way. And that's what I teach you in unscripted sales. So I'll share my screen here for just a brief moment, especially for people who are going to watch the replay of this. So you can see inside the program. I just doubled the price of unscripted sales. It's now $9.97. It is still a steal, absolute steal. And I want you to make your investment back on that first call, on that first sales call where you get that yes. That said, I'm offering everybody here today. Yesterday was $4.97 or a couple days ago. If you use the coupon code MAY50, MAY50, when you go to checkout, you can get that last price for a couple more days here. So I'm going to go ahead and put unscripted sales in. See if you can click on that and that works. And May50 will give you 50% off. And let me share my screen for you here. And I'm going to answer any questions that you have about the program. I so often serve the heck out of people and don't answer their questions about the program, but I can't tell you how proud I am of the results clients are getting here. And what's really neat is that lately I've just been kind of going bonkers, even adding more to the course. And a competitor sells this program that, in my opinion, is not as good, is not good for coaches, for $16,000, right? I need to up my price times 1,000. It is only $1,000 right now, and you can get May50 off of it. Or you can use the coupon code May50 to get 50% off here for the next couple days, okay? So in the course here, you will obviously just have a welcome video that will walk you through what to expect. You're going to learn how to set yourself up for success on the sales call so that clients show up ready to buy, no missed calls, and on and on and on. I'm going to teach you how to take the money. Now, this doesn't come naturally to coaches. And unless you've sold 600 sales calls, or at least a few hundred, you really aren't practiced at this. And so you want to ask certain questions first, such as their name and email and phone number. And I teach you how to do this in a way that doesn't feel weird at all, but helps to calm the client's mind. Because again, they're looking for any excuse to jump ship and to bail. So this is really, really nice for you to learn how to take the money on the first call really gracefully. And then I teach you how to onboard a client. So often this is what $1 million coaching programs are missing. And when I implement these for sales teams, they immediately make more money, and it's insane. Just like I created a video yesterday in the program because a client of mine had second thoughts. They purchased the program and they had second thoughts, and that was because the coach didn't onboard the prospect properly. We need to warn them about the second thoughts they're going to have inevitably after they join with you. We need to coach them around that a little bit. So, right, you see, there's just these things that I've learned selling high ticket for so many years that you just can't know. And this will save you so much anguish and so many missed opportunities. And when you're an individual coach, you only get up to bat, right? A couple times a month. And so it's really important that you sell to nearly everyone you speak to. Your close rate as an individual coach should be 9 out of 10. And that's what my clients get, okay? Then we walk through how to host a proper and aligned sales call. Just like a coaching call, how there's a framework to it, the same is true for a coaching call or for a sales call. It's different from a coaching call in that we're never giving away coaching. We're always helping a client come to a decision around getting support. We're not coaching them on the actual problem. And so helping them come to the aha moment where they need support, whether it's with you or without you, is a really methodical process, and you can't skip a step. It's not a script. Instead, we practice it, and then we crumple it up, we throw it away. We have our framework in front of us just to prompt us and remind us. And that's what I teach you here is we go through the overview of the 5 steps process so you understand the whole process, and then we break it down. What should happen in this first chunk? Rapport and intention. What should happen in the second chunk? What questions are so important? When should you bring up money? Where, why, how? And then how do we get them to dream big? I talked about that embody and envision exercise. How do we do that? It's so important for us to help clients step in a really powerful way and to really dream big. Clients tell me things on sales calls, even with a small embodiment exercise that I'll do if I'm selling business coaching, that they've never told anybody. Sometimes they are like, they cry. I mean, it's like the most beautiful thing because they feel so comfortable with me and they feel so safe. And that's the sales environment that I invite you to create for your clients. And an embodiment exercise before you ask them to step into the vision is really powerful. And I'll teach you how to do this step by step. And then we move in, of course, to presenting the opportunity. And we've touched on that just a little bit today on how do you do that in a really succinct way? How do you practice it? And how do you make it really easy peasy so that you keep the train on the tracks? A sales call is like a drum beat. Dun, 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 dun. And you want to keep the drum moving. If it stops or ceases anywhere, right? That's when you start to get those objections or people thinking differently. And speaking of objections, when you host a sales call this way, you don't get those objections anymore because you've already gone through them. Guess what? If somebody says they're really busy, I say, how are you going to make time for this if you're as busy as you say you are? Is this really important to you? I do that way early in the call and I teach you how to do that so they don't get to the end and go, oh, remember I told you I was really busy? We already talked about that. I always talk about money and I teach you how to do that up here. What are you making? What do you want to make? What did you get missed out on? For Shelly, for you, what is this costing you? How many doctor visits have you been to? How much work have you missed? Do you get paid time off? Do you lose out on money? How many days would you guess you missed last year? 100? Oh my gosh. Wow. How much income was that? Pull your calculator out. Do it for them. That is in loving service. There is no manipulation there. If they don't understand the cost of staying stuck, they're not going to understand the benefits of working with you. And your job as a sales coach is not to convince them, but to present the opportunity and to help them say yes or no. It might not be with you. But as long as they came to a choice or a decision on that call, it's going to feel great every time, guaranteed. And when you work this way, the choice to work with you, right, becomes pretty clear. Because think about how powerful a coach you are if you can help them see this so quickly and in 45 minutes. Okay. And then we have bonuses here. So I don't teach you marketing. I do so much better. I teach you how to tap into your inner circle. And to bring those first few clients into your program, you should make $4,500 minimum before you spend any money or join a marketing program. And that is really important to do. Otherwise, you will. I remember I was on a call with somebody the other day, and I've had about 10 of these where they've spent money on a marketing program. The marketing program has worked, got them the calls. This gal had 40 sales calls and didn't close any of them. Should she have learned marketing first or sales first, right? Had she had basic sales skills? And I said, well, were they all unaligned clients? She said, no, they were all my ideal clients. Before she set into that marketing program, she should have sold $4,500 worth, brought a couple people through a client coaching partnership, known how to host an embodied sales conversation. And now that marketing program she would have blown it out of the water, been the best success story that they had, right? They did their job. She didn't learn how to learn the sales conversation and bring people to choice in a simple call. I love this email or this video with Laura Belgray, but you just have some other things on thinking about selling differently and how to connect with clients in a different way. So your job actually isn't to do marketing. Your job is, as a new coach or even an experienced coach, if you haven't found your jam yet, is to figure out what clients need to experience in order to work with you. I found this out through trial and error, no surprise. When I speak in front of a group, I typically go into a coach certification program, or I do a training for a business course. I don't pitch or anything during the program when I speak, and people reach out to work with me. I get to present at the ICF this August. There's going to be 1,600 people there. I just show up, I serve the heck out of them. And out of about 20 people, any set of 20, about 3 people will reach out to work with me. What is it for you? Shelly, is it hosting a picky eaters class in a mom's Facebook group, right? Is it getting into these different groups and offering a service? Is it hosting a webinar where you're sharing what you do? Is it doing short videos, right? Your question is, what does somebody need to experience before they work with me? For me, it's my book. When people now, speaking is awesome, but now I have my book. So people read my book, go, this sounds awesome. Then there's a website in the back, they opt in, and 10% of those clients sign up to work with me. Took me a long time to get here. What is your thing? And you just experiment and you experiment and experiment until you get there. What feels amazing too? Because if a podcast doesn't feel amazing, you're not going to do it. You're not going to show up energetic and joyful. Okay. So that is what you receive during this program with me. And again, it is $9.97. You all can use that coupon code May50 when you go to checkout to get 50% off today. And I also offer Voxer support. So for several months, you can connect with me on Voxer, and this takes the place of our one-on-one coaching together. You can say, just like clients, I have a couple of Voxer messages here today, go, hey, what are you thinking? A client said, maybe, what should I do next? How should I reach out to them? What should I say? Or, hey, I have a call coming up. I'm really nervous. Can you help me lean into this? Right? Or I have a client who missed a payment, right? Any of these things, or even questions around the material itself. Can you help me with this embodiment exercise? Actually, somebody yesterday said, hey, look over my coaching that I'm giving somebody around the buyer's remorse right before I hang up the call. What do you think? I was like, ooh, that's perfect. I'm actually going to share that with the community. All right. So these are the types of things that we can talk about really casually on Voxer as you need them. So I hope to see you in the program. I hope that you feel served and supported. I have a ask for you. If you haven't yet, please leave me a review on Amazon. It means so much to me, and it really helps me get the word out. My intention is that every coach be handed a copy of Joyful Selling when they enter a coach certification program, so that they can sell with joy and integrity and confidence from day one. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. We just went a few minutes over. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.